To Calgary, where a party to mark the end of the school year turned tragic. 5 university students are dead, brutally stabbed in the early hours of this morning. Here's how it happened. All of the victims were students of the University of Calgary. At a rented home a few blocks from campus, about 24 people gathered for a low-key party yesterday evening. Just before 1:20 a.m., police say the suspect arrived and began his gruesome attack. Someone called 911. The suspect took off on foot. The police canine unit caught up with him about 30 minutes later, a short distance away. All right, let's go to Calgary now. Carolyn Dunn is on the street where all this happened. Carolyn.
Well, Peter, Bermuda Shorts Day, or BSD as it's known, is a 53-year-old tradition around these parts. It's supposed to celebrate the end of classes for University of Calgary students, but today it took a deadly turn. It is the worst mass murder in Calgary's history, perpetrated, say police, at the hands of an invited party guest, intent on killing.
The suspect arrived at the party, obtained a large knife, and targeted the victims one by one, stabbing them several times.
The carnage tough for even seasoned police investigators.
The scene was horrific. It's extremely difficult to go into a scene like that with young people who've been killed, who've been murdered.
Inside the home, 3 young men were dead. A man and a woman were transported to hospital where they died too. All 5 victims were in their 20s. 2 have been identified by friends as Zachariah Rathwell and Josh Hunter of the local rock band Zachariah and the Prophets. After being tracked by the police canine unit, the suspect was arrested. 22-year-old Matt DeGrood is a U of C student and the son of a veteran Calgary police officer who is distraught over the murders. For neighbors, the whole thing seemed to come out of the blue. It was, by all accounts, a tame party.
They were having a few pops, obviously, and they had the fire pit going. There was no loud music.
It even moved inside early. To the neighborhood, the first sound or sign of trouble came when the police arrived.
Just a flashing lights through the window and just saw a bunch of ambulances and police cars and knew that a party was going on, but didn't know the extent of it by any means.
It became all too clear in the light of day.
I'm in shock. 5 people, 5 young people to be stabbed. Who could do a thing like that?
And why? A question hanging over stunned students at the University of Calgary. They gathered by the hundreds tonight to remember the victims. Students have been offered grief counseling to deal with the traumatic loss. And Peter, we have just in the last few minutes officially learned the names of the other 3 victims in this case. They are Caitlin Paris, Jordan Seguras, and Lawrence Fong. And I think now that we have names, we will begin to hear stories. Probably very fair to say that the grieving here in Alberta and indeed across the country is just about to begin.
Yeah, you're right about that. Thank you, Carolyn.